All right, Combat, you want to kick us off?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's pray. Father God, Lord, I just pray that you be with us in this time, that we would glorify you in everything we say and everything we do. Pray that this would be a time that people would see you for how awesome you are through us. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Hey, this is Jay, and welcome to the Sakred Gaming Podcast. We are live right now. We're going to be talking about quite a few things. We got Black Ops 3 DLC, where Ojo's going to be leading us off with that. We're also going to be talking to Taboo about the Division, new game that's coming out that you can pre-order right now. And we're also going to be talking about Destiny being delayed and maybe some other games that were delayed as well. But I can't wait to get into this show. At this time, let's talk about Icebreaker. Let's talk about what is your favorite Black Ops 3 weapon. And Combat, do you want to lead us off and tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about that favorite weapon of yours?
Sure. My name's Combat, actually Combat 901. I want to represent my city, Memphis. So I'm from Memphis. I got a wife, 3 little girls. Been doing YouTube not too long, actually. So, been doing it for, I guess, 6-7 months. So, but been gaming a long time. So my favorite Black Ops weapon would actually be right now. Oh my gosh, I had one, and now I'm stuck between two. I had one in my head, and now I'm like, oh well, actually, I kind of like this. I got to go with the Vesper, just because it's quite annoying. I know I'm that guy.
I'm liking you more and more, Combat.
I gotta go with the Vesper. It's one of those that it melts people and it just annoys them, and it's kind of fun to be that guy sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Well, thanks for being on the show, Combat. Can't wait to get to talk to you about some things. We're also going to be talking about you and your upcoming change in life, something pretty serious. So can't wait to get into that. Ocho, you want to go next?
Yeah, so I'm Ocho Blanco. The YouTube channel is still kind of dusty at the moment, so got some things in mind, but this is probably my main project for the moment. Favorite gun is probably, I have to say, the M8. So I remember Vaughn talking about the M8 back in Black Ops 2 days, and it's kind of the same in Black Ops 3. But it was like, I think his quote was, when you absolutely, positively have to kill everybody in the room, that's the gun to use. Maybe stick extended mags on it, and you're good to go.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Actually, that might be a quote from something else, and I kind of paraphrased it and cleaned it up a little bit. So, but his quote was kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I know what Taboo's going to say already, what his favorite weapon is. But Taboo, you want to go next?
The Vesper, no question. Yeah, the rate of fire, and we play hardcore primarily, so it melts in core, but it melts in hardcore like just crazy. So I haven't been able to use it for a long time because I'm still trying to work on the dark matter camo stuff. But
oh no,
I miss it, man. That's my gun. Yeah. I understand you don't really care for it though, Judgment.
No, I actually was thinking you were going to go with something else. So
oh yeah,
I was kind of surprised. I mean, I know you love the Vesper, and I hate that thing. It up close, it melts everybody. Yeah, but at range and hardcore, it's like a hit maker machine, hit marker machine, whatever that's called. And yeah, I can't stand it. But I thought you were going to go with the wrench.
Well, that is the most satisfying one to use. Yeah, but
are you the only one that has one?
Do what?
Are you the only one that has one?
I mean, there's other people in the world that have one, but
right here in this chat. Are you the only one?
I don't know. Ocho, do you have one?
No, I haven't even seen one yet.
Yeah, I guess I am right now. I love it, man, but you can't run around with it in hardcore. I'll keep it in my back pocket, and if I sneak up on somebody camping in a corner, I'll take it out and whack them with it. But that is definitely the most satisfying one to use for sure.
You know what would be really cool is if you could throw that thing. Can you imagine zinging that thing across the map?
Oh yeah, I saw somebody on Reddit recommend that, as more weapons, instead of the tomahawk or whatever it is that you can throw, battle axe. What if you could throw a chain or any kind of random items? I think that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Jaden said K9 or KN44. Collapse got the ICR. But all right, so my favorite weapon. I'm JA. Just barely made it into the show for some reason. I could not get connected to the internet. My wife wasn't on, and I want to just say this. I asked for suggestions for my wife's gamer tag in a video, and somebody put Wi-Fi hog because I told the story about when she was hogging the Wi-Fi, and she saw that, and I got in so much trouble. And I'm like, oh man. But I think my favorite gun is the Razorback right now. I used to love the VMP, but I think Razorback is my cheese. But I don't know.
That's fair.
Oh, thanks, Nick. I got a confession to make to you guys.
All right.
I spent money on COD points.
No.
Oh my gosh.
And I was jealous of your wrench, and that's why I did it. I wanted some kind of melee weapon, and of course I spent. I had some money that was sitting on my account that was just I wasn't using it, so I put that money into COD points, and of course I didn't get anything. So I'm not going to mention how much that is, but I'm in that group. I'm in that creamy group. If you guys know the creamy. But so
Nice.
Kind of embarrassed about that. Have you guys ever spent money on anything like that, camos or anything?
I think I bought the extra class, like the extra classes option.
Oh, yeah.
I think back in I don't know if it's Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 3 or something like that.
I bought that every time that's been available, except for Black Ops 3, because
Really?
playing hardcore and core, it's a pain in the butt to have all your classes set up. But now it's like my classes are the same in hardcore and core.
Yeah.
And
then you have to, and when you prestige, you have to reset everything. So it's like, let me just wait till I master prestige and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I've never spent money on it ever.
Not in Call of Duty, but I bought some dances in
You do.
Destiny, like
Yes,
emotes
I
or
will
whatever.
admit.
Yeah.
See, that's
Yeah.
worse.
Destiny.
That's worse than what I did.
I find myself wishing that I could sit down or dance in Call of Duty though. Like you get a cool kill and then you want to dance or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
you're just oh, I can't.
Cool. Let us know in the comments in the chat if you've spent any money. I tell you what, I'd rather see the ability to actually buy things that I want than have a chance at getting something that I want. And I wasn't going to spend anything, but then they had that 50% off sale that they had, and it just got me, It was, whatever they call it, impulse shopping. Yeah, so you guys got me. But, yeah, I forgot where I was
give you
going with that.
2,000 points, but then everything costs 3,000, so you have to spend money to actually use the 2,000 they give you.
It's like buying
Yeah.
hot dog buns and it's always uneven.
Yeah.
They'll mess with you every time.
Yeah.
They get you every time.
Great Disciple said his favorite is the Cuda. I like the
Cuda's
Cuda
good.
too.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it at first, but it seems like that's a higher damage weapon, and it gets the
Yeah,
job
I think
done.
it's a one-shot kill in hardcore, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So if you're tired of getting those hit markers, I run the Cuda a lot. So
That's good. It's good in core too. Really good.
yeah. Yep.
Which one's the one that sounds like the FAMAS from Black Ops 1? Was it the Vesper?
The Vesper's kind of reminds me of the
Scorpion?
It's like a Scorpion and Vector from Black
Vector.
Ops 2, like a combo of those two. To me, those are two of my favorite SMGs in Black Ops 2. So it's a good
I think
fit.
it might be the Razorback that has the same, at least a very similar sound.
I'm wondering if it's the VMP. VMP or Razorback, probably two that feel the most similar to the FAMAS. That gun was Cheese City. Man, you had to use that gun back then. All right. Well, let's get into our topics. Ocho, you want to lead us off with some Black Ops 3 DLC news, and look at that, representing the Sticks Live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did Chaos send that, or did you buy that?
No, I bought it.
You're a good man, man.
I was going to get the sweatshirt, but it doesn't get that hot or that cold here. So it's like, I'll probably wear the t-shirt more.
Hey, you can somebody can tweet out a screenshot of that on Twitter, and people think it's the Sticks, and they might come watch.
Yeah, put that in the title. Did you do that? All right, you want to lead us off with DLC news, Ocho?
All right. So there's not much news since the trailer. I think they put out a new trailer with it was about one of the maps. But I went back and looked at the trailer they released back in December. So the release date's still February 2nd. So that'll be on PlayStation. The Xbox One will come out, I think it's 30 days later or something. So it's kind of the reverse of what it was last year, where PlayStation gets it first and Xbox gets it 30 days later or a month later, however it ends up working out. I guess it's usually on that Tuesday, like four weeks later or something like that. So So we have to put up with it this time since I guess none of us has the PlayStation yet. And so there's in the DLC there's going to be 4 maps. It's called Awakening. That's the name of the DLC. So from the video described, one of the maps is Gauntlet, and it'll be like a military training facility. It's 3-lane map. And it seemed kind of weird because it said like there's different environments on the same map. So I don't know if have any of you guys finished the single player yet?
No, I haven't. I did the first
I've done
mission.
like 2 missions. Yeah.
So same here.
Ain't got no time for that.
But I feel like I haven't played past that first mission. It seems like there's some kind of like virtual reality aspect of it. But like in this one map, it says there's different environments. One side of it's a jungle, the middle part's an Arctic area, and then like part of it's a rainy urban cityscape. So I'm wondering how all that can be in the same geographic area.
Yeah.
And then kind of like in Nuketown, it kind of has that Nuketown offline thing at the end.
Yeah, like the simulation thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's like part of the single player or something. But and let's see, the next one was called Splash. So that's the next map. It's an abandoned water park. So looking at it, it kind of reminded me of Grind from Black Ops 2 because it's kind of the same color pattern, and you have like the kind of tubular spaces where you're like it's a water slide in this map, but it seemed looked a little bit like the like skate park tubes in Grind. There's also going to be a lot of underwater combat, which if it's an abandoned water park, I'm not sure why there should be water there. It's like maybe recently abandoned.
They just closed for the weekend.
That's going to be some nasty water.
Yeah. So that's kind of what the map is called, Splash. The next one is Rise, which I guess sounds kind of like the Zombies map, but it's supposed to be a construction site on the outskirts of Zurich, and it's a snow map. They described it as classic multiplayer, so there's cover to cover, 3 lanes. Described one part of it as being long, and there's a lot of wall running involved. And there's the middle lane with the choke point at the end, and then another underwater part. And the guy that was talking about it, I think his name is Dan Bunting, is the game director. He described it as hoping it would be adopted for the COD World League, for the esports aspect of it. And so part of what that's on is like they're not necessarily in charge of assigning that as the DLC map that the pros are going to play. So if he's hoping it's going to be involved, so I guess it's people higher up decide that. And the last one was called Skyjack. That's probably the one that's most people are excited about because it's a reimagining of Hijack from Black Ops 2, where you had the boat, which I guess I don't think you could jump off the boat, could you? In that one,
no,
like
not
you
off of
get
it
into the water, but somehow the dogs got from there onto the boat. But I'm wondering, like, because there's a lot of maps in Black Ops 3 where you can fall off the map and die. They actually, or you don't necessarily die, but it counts you out because you're out of the playing field. But I'm wondering if that's going to be the case with this one because it's basically hijacked in the air.
Yeah.
So
and I'm always dying on evac. I tell you what, that map drives me nuts sometimes, especially when I was early on. I was always falling off that map. But I'm looking forward to Skyjack because Hijack, man, that was a fun map. I liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed.
Yeah,
Hijacked a lot.
I love running that route underneath the boat and getting in behind people and then just spawn trapping them and killing them and getting people all salty.
That was a good first blood spot. Underneath, it's like you'd always find somebody down there with a shotgun in their hand or something.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, you could go off the back of the boat. I mean, there was some really involved Easter egg on that thing where you could get Batman to pop out of the water, wasn't there too?
What?
Do you remember that?
What?
I think Chaos Silencer put out a video. Maybe he was trolling me. I don't know. He's just trolling.
You got
never tried it,
owned on that one.
I think you could get Batman. Somebody let me know in the chat if you guys know what I'm talking about. Batman coming out of the water. That was pretty sweet, though. You guys all getting the DLC?
Yeah,
I think I am. I can't see any reason not to right now. I'm enjoying the game. Like I don't want to. I don't want to stop playing it. So why not? I will have to delete it to stay out of the sweaty lobbies every once in a while.
Oh,
but
yeah, that was going to be my next question. How long until you delete it?
And then I'll re-download it and delete it and re-download it.
We should be getting Nuketown soon too, right? Isn't that
in standard rotation?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I thought it was this month.
No.
Did you put in the comment section that you can definitely see Batman?
Yeah,
Nice.
confirmed.
Have you guys played Nuketown?
I don't think. Well, I've played it in like some custom games, just screwing around.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing tomahawks at each other, but
We
yeah.
did do that.
yeah,
Yeah, like every time Kingdom's on, he's in that chaos mosh pit, and
Yeah.
like Nuketown's like heavy in that rotation.
Yeah.
I need to. There's some guns that I need to work on for camos, and I know that I'm going to wind up playing
Going
Chaos
there.
Mosh Pit, I guess, but I haven't yet. No,
So you didn't answer, Debbie. Are you getting the DLC?
probably, yeah. The only thing that's holding me back is it seems like connections just keep getting worse for me, So I don't know.
Yeah.
It frustrates me, but I'm not. Apart from the Division, that's the only game I feel like playing right now, anyway. So might as
Gotcha.
well, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's move on and talk about the Division. Why don't you tell us about it, what you're seeing?
Okay, so I stopped paying attention to it. It was like announced in E3 like 2 or 3 years ago, I guess. They were showing off some of it conceptually, I guess, and it looks kind of cool. But it got delayed and got delayed and got delayed. But it's actually got a firm release date now. I think March 8th is the release date. But there's a beta this week, like the end of this week, I think, the 28th. We get it first on Xbox One, and then I think the 29th it opens up on PS4. And all you got to do to participate is pre-order the game, and you get a code, and I'll put it in, whatever. And so I did mine on Amazon, which
Nice.
means they don't take any money out of the account that's pre-ordered. I can play, and if I want to cancel it, there's been no like dollar transaction, so I think that's pretty cool. Plus, if I decide to keep it, we talked about this a little bit last week. The price of the game is $47.99 if you're a Prime member, as long as you don't mind it getting delivered to you. Which I've kind of gotten away from digital downloads lately because I keep getting games and wishing I could sell them, like Advanced Warfare. I think that was my last digital purchase. So
I hear that.
I'm gonna
Still
try it
salty
on.
about that one.
Yeah. But it looks really cool. It's like it's a third-person shooter with a bunch of RPG elements. You can level up your character or whatever, get stronger, get better guns, all that kind of stuff. It looks really, really fun. And some of the footage I've seen, I've actually got a link I'll post in the chat. You guys can check out later if you want to, or check it out now if you want to leave. But I think that's the link right there. These guys at this channel called Node, they got to play it for a long time. They got 2 videos on their channel, and it just looks really cool. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like post-apocalyptic New York City setting, and you've got these different groups of people, and I guess you're part of the police force or whatever. But there's these other guys that just want to burn everything. So they've got these like flamethrowers. They just want to. There's some kind of like virus or whatever, and they think the answer is to burn it all. But there's these different enemies that are trying to control the city or whatever. It looks really cool. It looks like a good change of pace too from the typical stuff I've been playing. So
The thing that I liked about it was just being able to go in with some friends and kind of use that teamwork, especially to do some things. Now, I don't think it's going to be any good. That's my 2 cents. I'm looking at it.
How you really feel.
Yeah, it reminds me of Tom Clancy, which in Ghost Recon and games like that, the third person just, I don't know, for some reason, it's a little bit slow. And I tell you what, the people, if you think like Valis was a bullet sponge in Destiny, the people are super bullet sponges. I think they need to adjust that, because I saw this guy get shot like 7 times with the shotgun up close and it didn't take him down. And I was like, whoa, what is going on there? So
I think the link I posted, if it's not this one, it's the other one on that channel. They actually let them be like level 20 or whatever. They gave them stronger weapons and stuff.
Oh, so does that help then?
Yeah,
with mowing people down.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I mean, but they were also facing like stronger enemies too as they progressed. But you could definitely tell it made a difference in their approach. Like one of the guys had an LMG with like 150 rounds in it, and then all of a sudden he was able to like really contribute. Whereas the first video that they posted in their level 1 or level 4, it was like a struggle. So.
Yeah. Strom said it, and I heard this too, that it was only going to be 30 frames per second. That's kind of disappointing if that's true. I think with the size of this game, though, because it's pretty much open world, right?
Yeah, it's very, very much open world, and that's that 30 frames per second. I think that's going to be a compromise with this generation. I think, and I'll make a prediction. I think Destiny 2, if it's going to stay open world or get a bigger world, I think it's going to wind up 30 frames per second again.
Man, I hope not. I have a feeling you're right.
I don't want to be right.
Yeah. Have you guys seen The Division? Watched any videos on it? Ocho Combat?
Yeah, I think I've seen a little bit of it, but not much. I'm looking at the Amazon site now. I was saying for the digital download, you can actually get it from Amazon. Preloads on, February 9th, but the game is released on I think the 6th, March 6th. What was it?
Wow.
But basically, or March 8th.
The 20% off, though, that's not for digital on Amazon, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was
thinking that's disc only, which kind of stinks, but I tell you what, the multiplayer, though, that aspect, all right, so it seems like there's one area of the map that is multiplayer that you can go into, and that looks kind of interesting, going up against other players, and I think that's what would be really cool if you're playing with a good fire team that had, a solid fire team, and that's where you get the best weapons and gear. Is in the multiplayer area. So if you take down another team, I guess you're going against, you take out some gangs and you get some loot, and then you have to call in like a helicopter to take your loot out. And as soon as you do that, then the other people in the area can see that and can come and try and stop you. So that looks kind of fun. But I mean, the concept looks good. I'm just wondering though, with
that sounds like Troll City to me. That sounds like the worst place for trolls. In the history of trolldom.
I hope you can get an RPG, man, because I'm just going to be like waiting for that beacon to go up and
oh my gosh,
just make it rain.
It's going to be, oh my gosh, I can see it now. Like it would be crazy. But I don't know if I'm going to get the game. I thought about just pre-ordering it just so you could get the beta code and then canceling that bad boy so that I could really just not lose any money.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's what I'm doing because I've never really liked third-person shooter games. Gears of War I kind of got into a little bit, but it was a struggle. I really like the first-person immersion, but this one looks really promising. It's loot-based, it's RPG, it's shooter, it's got all these elements that I've come to enjoy. I think Destiny is what kind of like got me going that direction or whatever. But so I have high hopes for it. If that doesn't work out, I'm going to be stuck playing, I guess, Black Ops 3 until
hey, nothing wrong with that.
Until the fall.
You know what would be really cool in that game is if you could set up a base, like to defend and take other people's bases and everything like that. Which I think they were kind of hinting at that early on, but I don't think that made its way into multiplayer. I think maybe that's still in single player.
So kind of like Clash of Clans for console.
Yeah. You know that I gotta tell you a funny joke. There's a new movie coming out called Warcraft, and it's based on World of Warcraft. Have you seen that?
I just saw that.
Saw that today. And my wife goes, "Is that like Minecraft?"
Oh.
I'm like, not,
sweetie.
Yeah, you want to go see it?
Sweetie.
Warcraft, Minecraft. Yeah, it's just a little bit different. Hey, Mobius is picking up a pre-order for that. Mobius, I got to get with you and play some games, man. Mobius is from 3DR. I met him there, and I haven't had a chance to hook up with. I don't want to say hook up with him, but never mind. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? Combat. Talk to us about Destiny and the delay.
Oh my gosh, the delay. Hopefully you guys by now have maybe seen the Bungie update that came out on the 21st. And it is the worst thing on earth. It's just one of the most disappointing things to see. Yeah, they gave us a little bit of information about this, the Crimson Days event that's coming up. I believe it's February 9th. And so that's kind of cool. You get to play doubles, which is kind of fun. I don't know who I would play with. I'd have to start taking a little draft. But yeah, I think that's cool, and the Iron Banner update was cool. But they also let us know that nothing's coming out in 2016. For real? like for real Bungie. And so that's kind of where we're stuck. Is this kind of this nothing's happening. And what's worse, I don't think it's necessarily that there's no Destiny 2 coming out, but I think it's just as bad as that there's been no update of anything. They've completely left us in the dark. And I think there was even an article that came out from TheVerge.com. I don't know if you guys saw it. Everyone's like complaining about it. But the title's like, now is the perfect time to quit Destiny. And I got to tell you, I kind of agree with the guy. But yeah, it's just kind of a disappointing time for Guardians across the galaxy.
For Guardians, yeah. I did a Nightfall this week.
Why?
Guess what I got?
Go Shell.
Go Shell. Seriously. Yes.
You don't even have to watch the video.
I don't cuss or anything, but I tell you what, I felt
But you thought about it.
Yeah.
I felt it. My son was on the other line, though, so I didn't want to do it. And I was playing with another guy, and I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me, Destiny.
Yeah.
What did he get? Or do we just need to wait and see?
You're going to have to wait and see, yeah. Right. There were some decent things, just me. It's just my luck, man. I got a Sparrow the one time. Which wasn't too bad. That was better than Ghost Shell, but I'm just like, come on. I'm going to do just a show with all the Ghost Shells that I got. Or should I pick them? And I got to just delete them all.
And then you got to do reaction cams with all of them.
Yeah.
It'd just be this.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, it's bad. The whole thing is bad right now. I honestly think the Sparrow racing was a huge, a gimmick. I think the Sparrow racing was a good idea if they would have done it on the original release. Release, I think it would have been great. And then it's just been a letdown right now. And so I think we're just stuck in this limbo. We have no idea what's going on.
Yep. And I tell you what, I'm a little bit salty towards Destiny, to be honest with you. Because, here we go, rant.
Let it go.
Down. And I tell you what, let me start off right now. Destiny, man, that game consumed my life for a long time, and I loved it. And I still play it every once in a while, still do my Zerg videos and everything like that. But Destiny told us that they weren't doing anything to PvP, and then come to find out, they introduced skill-based matchmaking in there. And I'm not necessarily against skill-based matchmaking, but be transparent about it and tell us about it. And then they said, we did it because we wanted unbiased data. Baloney, you did it, you got caught, and now you're saying that. I mean, it's like dealing with the U.S. government.
Got caught.
Yeah, just kind of drives me nuts.
Because and their explanation, I'll just let you catch your breath because I know you got a lot more to say.
Yeah.
But their explanation was that they didn't realize the guy was changing it to skill-based matchmatchmaking. Like, that's
they said
excuse.
That?
Yeah.
No.
The guy in charge of it flipped the switch or whatever. Nobody else realized.
Because there's a little switch. Click. Got it.
So I'm like,
come on.
Either you're so dysfunctional, like your organization has terrible communication problems, or you flipped the switch, didn't want to tell anybody because you wanted unbiased results, and now all of a sudden you got to come clean. I don't know.
And I tell you what, Triple Rex got a great video where he kind of talks about it, and I think he was spot on with that video. Freak posted in the chat that we were talking about, so if you want to watch a good video that talks about that, I'd recommend that.
Here's a little question I got, though.
Yeah.
Like, we're sitting here with Bungie saying their stuff's being delayed. Division was delayed when it originally said it was going to come out. Activision actually had to switch to developers coming out with a rotation. Do you guys think we're just putting too much on developers expecting a game every single year?
I think that with Destiny, there wasn't a separate, like a completely new game last year.
Yeah.
But they just kind of did like a big DLC kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want that with COD. But
the thing with Destiny is like it's been kind of like marketed as an MMO or whatever, and like so you get this idea that it's going to be this ever changing universe or whatever throughout the time that you're playing it, and so like we've been looking at games as these $60 games with some DLC. Destiny comes around, it looks a little bit different. It tries to be something a little bit different, but where they try to be like World of Warcraft and make previous gear like irrelevant, there's not enough like new content to make it where all that old content being irrelevant is like a good thing. Like it's just too shallow of a game to leave 2/3 of it behind, in my opinion. So they're trying to be something bigger than what they've accomplished, you know. And I think if they get there in Destiny 2 or whatever, I think everybody's going to be really happy. But I'm concerned because I was listening to a Destiny podcast. I can't remember who it was, what podcast it was, but they were talking to one of the it was Luke Smith with Destiny with Bungie, and he was saying that when they finished with Crota's raid and they saw the response, they immediately started working on the Taken King, and like they had not even built the Taken King raid yet, like the level or anything.
Wow.
And I was like, that was in December when it launched, I think.
Yeah.
And Taken King came out in like what, September? Following that, and just to know that they had not even started on it completely, like that blew my mind, and that really worried me for the rest of it, for the rest of the year, because if they had not started on that, then that meant they were going to have to see how the Taken King went and then start on the next raid, you know. And so I think we've seen that timeline just keep stretching out further and further, unfortunately.
Now we are getting a big DLC though, or something coming in 2016 from Destiny, right? I'm hearing new raid.
Hope so.
Yeah. They said, I think there was something like, I'm gonna have to look at the. I think they said something about it that they were gonna release something, but it just wasn't Destiny 2. That's essentially the news. It's not Destiny 2.
Yeah, and originally they said they were going to be releasing a new Destiny, an actual new Destiny every 2 years, which, going back to your question, I think that was a little bit too ambitious for one studio to do that and to release enough DLC to keep us interested every 3 months and everything like that. Just seems like a tall order, especially with all the issues that Bungie had with this game and how they released it and all the things that were going on. I didn't see it happening. Yeah. So I'm not really surprised that it's getting pushed back.
I'm not either. It seems like they're just so like driven by the wind on what they want the game to be, like from one DLC to the other. It's like they still haven't figured it out, and I think it makes sense that the game had been delayed in the past, and then we wind up with this game that felt like it was unfinished, or it was cut, or it was pieces patched together. It never felt whole and complete. So yeah. I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned, but I know that I'll buy the game when it comes out.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
I will be there right with you, behind you. Mobius in the chat, I asked some people what they're expecting here at E3, and he was hoping for some backwards compatibility. Ocho, you were telling us a little bit earlier that they just we kind of found out a little bit backwards that Black Ops 1 is going to be backwards compatible here pretty soon. I guess Spain accidentally, or I don't know if it's accidentally, but they have DLC that you can buy for Black Ops 1 out right now. And the game isn't out yet, but we know that it should be coming here pretty soon. You guys going to be playing that when that comes out? Any COD game that comes out in backwards compatibility?
I'm definitely going to jump on Black Ops 1, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll fix some things. Black Ops 1 had
Last Stand,
yeah.
Yeah.
You could run a whole team with Last Stand and Flak Jacket and never die. Permanently die. I mean, because that was the only way to stop Last Stand. Yeah. That was pretty fun. Oh, man. All right. Anything else with Destiny you guys want to talk about? I tell you what, going back to my favorite weapon, I missed the G-Horn.
Yeah.
I missed the G-Horn. That thing was amazing. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is like the last word is now cool again. I think that's funny. It made its little cycle. It was awesome, then it got nerfed, and then it was awesome. Now it's awesome again.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, Tabby, you got me off my rant.
Oh, yeah, please continue.
I just thought of something. Man, I wish Bungie was just more transparent. Going back to that rant, because I want to know when it would be okay. I've got like 10 of these exotic engrams in my vault just waiting, but I don't want to use them right now because I'm afraid that I'm just going to get the stuff that I already have and none of the new stuff that's still out there. I want to know when that new stuff is dropping. I mean, it seems like that Titan chess piece is out there now because I know some people have it. Dagon has it and some other people. But I don't know. I want to know when all this new stuff is out there so I can use it, and just wish they would just let us know, hey, we're letting this into the loot table, just be upfront and tell us. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we feel about that. Oh, Silent Scalia, yeah, that was good. Bass fan said this should be called JA's Rant. I agree. All right, I got to stop because I got more, but I don't really want to Bungie, because I'm afraid that when they invite me to their studios,
when
they're
they
going to pull up
invite
this video. So I better just stop right now. I'm kind of salty about that they haven't invited me or like that.
I mean, you do have the "Where is there?" You mean?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Come on, it's a lot of work.
All right. Have you guys seen the new arcade hotel that just opened up in Amsterdam? Have you heard anything about this hotel? It is geared towards gamers. It is a arcade hotel. It has gaming systems in every room, also in the lobby. And we're not just talking about new gen. They've also got like Nintendos. I saw the little Duck Hunt. Somebody was playing the little Duck Hunt game with the little gun and everything like that.
Wow.
I could care less about. But they also have in the lobbies where you can actually get into some tournaments and play some multiplayer games. I guess FIFA is really big over there, but I'm sure they're going to do Call of Duty and other games like that. And I was thinking, man, would you stay at a hotel like that in the first place? Like would that be enough of a draw for you guys to stay in a hotel if it was available? Like if Holiday Inn had gaming systems in their room and Marriott didn't, would you be like, yeah, I'm going to stay in there? That's my first question. And then second question is, would your wife's let you do that? Because I think my wife would be like, no, we're going on vacation. We're getting away from the gaming. So what do you guys think?
It's a loaded question.
Yeah. So we were talking about with my wife that was walking around back there.
Bring her in here. Let's ask her.
Like going on a trip to Europe and staying at the arcade hotel. Would you be into that? Where there's video games in the hotel. She said yes. No, she didn't say yes.
Oh. I was like, you are newlyweds.
No, but I think if I was going, I don't know, because that's a long way to go to stay in a hotel to play video games all day.
Yeah.
But if you live there and like you're just traveling in like out of town or something, and that was one of the hotels you could stay at that had video games, and maybe after your business conference or whatever, you wanted to go in there and like just kind of veg out playing games versus go out do stuff in Amsterdam.
Yeah,
it's probably stuff you get in trouble in Amsterdam.
Right. They probably deliver that anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
actually, I've been to Amsterdam and it was interesting.
You've been to Amsterdam?
Yeah, back in high school, we went it was a band trip. So we spent maybe 2 days there.
Dang.
And there were definitely some interesting sights to see there.
We better not talk about those.
It's fun.
Debbie, you think that's enough of a draw? If one place said, hey, we're going to put an Xbox One or a PS4?
Yeah, I think in terms of, like, if I'm going on a vacation in Amsterdam, it's not like I'm going to be sitting in the hotel room playing video games. But like Ocho said, if I'm there on business or whatever and I get done with my meeting and I want to go back and chill and by myself, definitely it would help. It would definitely be a feature that caused me to choose it over another hotel, maybe even if I never like wound up playing it too. You know what I mean? Like if they're the same price and this one's got video games and this one's got just a continental breakfast and that's it.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'll pick it. But I wouldn't pay. I don't think I'd pay a premium, especially if I was with the family. If I was solo, maybe yeah. I think so.
Hey, welcome, KS.
Yep.
I just want to know if you could like sponsor the show. If you're interested, having the stick sponsor the show, we got the T-shirt all ready for you. Let me know in the chat.
Arms come down for $5.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So, Ocho, man, you've been like all around the world. You're like Mr. Culture. I think the only country I've been to is Mexico. Oh, I've been to Canada, to other countries. Where have you guys been around the world? Nowhere?
Highlands, North Carolina, New York.
That's that overseas travel right there.
Yeah.
Hey,
I've been to Belize.
Okay.
That's about it. And Puerto Rico, but Puerto Rico is like not. Yeah, it's still a.
Is that how you pronounce it? I thought it was like Puerto Rico.
Oh, you know what? Yes, that is the proper pronunciation. But You know what? I got to keep it. Someone tried to speak in Spanish in the chat earlier.
Oh yeah,
they got yelled at. So
okay.
I'm not about to be that guy. I'm not about to get shot down on my Spanish speaking.
Hey, well, speaking of Ocho, did you say where you've been?
Oh, I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been
There you
to
go.
Canada. I've been to 6 countries in Europe.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was on that same band trip. I think it was a 20-day trip. So we went
Nice.
to England, the Netherlands, I think Austria, Germany, Switzerland, France, and Italy.
Wow.
I think Amsterdam was probably the most interesting city. It's actually where Anne Frank was from. That's probably one of the big attractions there is seeing her house and seeing the history there.
That'd be cool.
Probably the most exotic place was Ghana. I spent 2 weeks there with my then girlfriend and her parents. That's where they're from, and that was probably the most exciting. It was personal and yeah.
Yeah. That guy I work with in my office, he's never been out of Ohio. I'm like,
Wow.
really? I mean, he told me that, and I was like, never been out of Ohio. I was like, you just got to drive across the border just to say you've been out of. I mean, I wouldn't go to Michigan or anything like that. That's probably the closest state, but I mean, that's But yeah, never been out of Ohio.
He's got
it is
all he
like
needs.
the greatest state and the worst state all in one. But still, you got to get out of Ohio if you haven't. Ever
Yeah, when I
done
was in
that.
Michigan, there were a lot of people that had never been out of Detroit. And I'm like,
What?
Man, I tell you what, I went to a POD concert in Detroit once, and I was lucky to make it out of there alive. And that thing
you wore the Ohio State shirt on.
no,
That could have been the reason.
yeah, it was like a secular concert, and POD just happened to be playing with them, and oh man, it was crazy there, crazy. But other than that, let's move on though. Greatest state is Texas. That's Pat's fan. Oh yeah, right up Ocho's.
I live in Georgia, and I'd probably agree with that.
I mean, it's a pretty darn good state.
Or Colorado. The
Did you guys-
Broncos versus Pat?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Pat's fan. Oh man, so sorry, bro. Did you guys watch that game today? Broncos,
Yes.
Patriots.
I didn't have to.
Awesome.
I follow Bob Loblaw on Twitter, so I got like the minute by minute, play by play.
He sure did. He was tweeting a ton about every play, every penalty, every idea that came into his head. He had a tweet for it.
Oh wow.
Oh, we got a little elephant typer over here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to type. I'm purposely pushing down. I need a softer keyboard or something like that. But yeah, my son is a big Patriots fan, and he said, "Who are you rooting for?" And I'm like, I'm going to root for the Patriots just for you, but I was secretly rooting for the Broncos because I just like Peyton Manning and wanted to see it. I love those stories. Like he was benched, and he comes back, and I watched that game where he just took over that game and they ended up winning. And so now it's exciting to see him going to one last Super Bowl. I'm sure this is probably going to be his last one. So I'm excited for him. I don't think they're going to win, but they could. I mean, their defense looked pretty darn good holding the Patriots like they did, but I thought the Patriots were going to come back and tie it up at the very end.
That was an awesome ending to a football game.
That's
Awesome ending.
Yeah, I love games like that. I hate games like that when you're on the losing end, but when you're not invested in both teams or either team, then it's kind of fun to watch.
I saw the stats on ESPN. It said I think Tom Brady had the most rushing yards on their team.
Yeah,
like 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a rough day at the office.
Yeah, dang.
Joshua Priest in the chat, he said he's been to Poland 2 years in a row on mission trips.
Oh wow,
That seems cool.
yeah. Man, I'd love to make it to Israel just to kind of visit some of the places that you read about and everything like that. But man, let's move on to the mission trip. Speaking of that, Combat, you want to tell us what's going on in your life? I think this is stinking awesome.
Yeah.
You want to let us know?
So I went on a mission trip with my church last year to Belize, and it was awesome. Like, it was one of those things where I got to experience a brand new culture. Just really got to experience a ton. And so came home, and it was one of those things where you kind of feel like, all right, man, now what? Like, what do I do in my life? What am I doing? What's going on? And so I was able to come home, talk to my wife, and I convinced her, hey, why don't we go back to Belize and go just the two of us and maybe go check it out and maybe possibly pick up our family and move there. So, I mean, why not? what are you doing this weekend? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go February 13th through the 27th. Me and my wife are gonna go and just enjoy seeing what the missionaries that are already over there are doing, see the ministry that they've got going on, be a part of it, and just see if it's something that we could pick up our family. Like my wife, my 3 little girls. I've got a 7, a 5, and a 2-year-old, and so we're just gonna see if it's something that we could go and live with the family that's already over there and just kind of be missionaries with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you nervous? I mean, what's going through your mind about that?
Yeah. I would probably describe it the way my daughter would describe it, which is nervous-sighted. I'm like half nervous. I'm half excited. I'm nervous-sighted. It's one of those things you kind of like. I'm nervous because I'm like, man, this really could change the trajectory of my family, our whole life. And at the same time, I'm like, man, that sounds awesome. Like I get to go share Jesus with people on the other side of the world who honestly, really, there isn't much church presence over there in Belize, in the village we were at, which is about an hour and a half off the coast. So I wouldn't be chilling on the beach. I'd be in the hot, sweaty jungles of Belize. So it's not a vacation. So yeah, it's about an hour and a half drive off the coast.
I mean, I think the people on the beach need Jesus too, don't they?
I mean, I'm sure they do. But I wouldn't have a place to live on the beach. Just can't afford it.
Oh yeah. Are there any dedicated servers by there?
There might be some 4G. I think that's about all we've got.
Wow.
So that one light come on in Belize on the COD map.
Yeah.
Hey, while we were on the mission trip, it was kind of funny because we were in the airport, like getting ready to fly back to Memphis. And what was kind of crazy was they actually shut off the electricity at the airport for an hour so that they could power up the generators again. So like they conserve, like it's bad, but
wow.
So yeah, my wife thinks I'm crazy, I think, and we'll see. So we'll be there for 2 weeks, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, KS man, if you're listening to this, you should put a link to your new channel. I don't know if you want to, but put a link to your new channel in the chat room, and you guys should check it out because I tell you what,
That's actually the makeup tips, right?
Yes, yes, for babies. If you want to get them into that, what is that thing called? Oh, where they do the dancing and everything for little kids, the pageantry. Yeah, he's got a great channel for that. But he's actually going through Matthew, and I was thinking about this because when he goes through it, then I read the whole entire chapter, and I don't know if it's Matthew 16 or 19, the story about the rich guy who comes to Jesus and like, what do I need to do to inherit eternal life? Do you guys remember that story? Mm-hmm. And Jesus says, keep the commandments. And he's like, I've done all that. And then Jesus says, well, go sell everything that you have, give it to the poor, and follow me. And I've kind of always thought about that and kind of worried that Jesus would one day say that to me, But that's what it kind of reminds me of, taking that trip for you and doing that. And unfortunately, that guy in the Bible, he went away sad, and he didn't do that. Mm-hmm. And he didn't. I started thinking about that when I was just reading this last time, and something popped out to me. It was like he didn't get Jesus's vision, Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering what's holding me back from following the vision that Christ has for my own life. Is there anything that God's telling me to do, but I want to hang on to this wealth, I want to hang on to this video game system, and maybe that's getting in the way of truly following Him? So I think it's awesome though, Combat, to be able to get out of the rat race. To be honest with you,
to not have your phone for 2 weeks will even be interesting. I mean that in itself is probably going to be a test of my will. The first thing I do, I'll admit it. The first thing I do when I wake up is I open that email and I'm checking email for work, and I'm checking text messages, make sure my friends, hey, what's going on, guys? Like, and just to be honest, like I'm even like going to the group meeting and be like, hey, morning, guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yep. So there's just a reality of even something as simple as my phone. Never mind that I won't have drinking water from a faucet. I'll have to get it from bottled water. That I'll have to. I won't have electricity 24 hours a day. I won't have Wi-Fi. It's just kind of like. So I'm kind of questioning life at times right now. I'm like, what am I doing? Is this a good idea? But you know what? It's one of those things. I think it's for nothing else. If nothing else, I really feel like the Lord's called me and my wife to go be faithful to check it out. I really feel like that's what he's kind of called me to do, is go check it out, and I'm gonna go, and it might turn into something awesome where me and my family go become missionaries overseas, and it might be something that me and my wife just simply adjust our lives to, or it could end up just being something that we just open our eyes to see what God's really doing across the world, and maybe in of our own hearts, but we might not ever go. So
yeah,
who knows? Just kind of
absolutely
hanging out.
Leaving it in his hands. Man, give us those dates again, because
February 13th through the 27th. So it's a full 2 weeks.
Yeah, and if you're in the chat room or if you watch this video later on, write those dates down and just be praying for Combat and his family. I moved from Chicago, a suburb of Chicago, to Ohio, and I hated my parents when they moved me, and I'm sure your daughters aren't going to be like this, but if you guys do end up going, you know the enemy's going to come against you. So we just want to cover you in prayer and just, have you tune in to the Holy Spirit's leading with this. So definitely going to be praying for you.
Appreciate it.
And I tell you what, bring your phone with you, though, so you can use the camera, the video camera. And if you ever have some issues with the water, I would love to see a video of that.
You would. If anybody would, it was you.
All right. Hey, if you guys have anything to that in the chat, or if you're watching this video, if you ever have anything that you want us to pray for, please put that in here. We'd love to do that. If you have any questions right now that you want us to answer, we'd love to hear that as well. But this was a question in a show that we had just recently, but somebody was asking if Christians should listen to secular music. So I'm curious what you guys think about that. Anybody got any thoughts? I don't want to get into the whole, like I said earlier, I don't want to get into our Christian people in the Christian music industry losing their 116 or
Yeah.
What's that? But you know what I'm talking about.
Ocho, what are your thoughts, just being a musician, a band guy?
I've encountered like a bunch of different people that have had different ideas. So there's one guy that, actually I think it was a woman that was of the opinion that unless it was specifically about Jesus, then all the music was like, had no value whatsoever. Like unless it was specifically promoting Jesus, then like your music was invalid. Like as a music creator, and even as listening to music, if it's not edifying or something that brings you closer to God, then there's really no value to it. I'm definitely not in that camp, but I think there's a scripture I was looking for that talks about what goes into a man doesn't make him unclean, but what comes out. And so if all you're listening to is music that's denigrating women or using cuss words and things like that are it doesn't uplift or it's not noble or things that you should be thinking about that are promoting living a better life, then I think that's where the problem could come in.
That's my thoughts on it. It's like, and it kind of depends on how much I'm in the Word and stuff too, if that makes sense to you. Because like this is the Bible, and it's like, to me, it's like it's like a scrubber for my brain. You know what I mean? So like if I've got all these like negative influences coming in, and I'm not scrubbing on a regular basis, then it's just going to influence what comes out. And it's going to be negativity and all that stuff that I'm kind of like naturally inclined to be about. So I got to scrub.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of interesting when I sit back and I kind of think of how secular music, I mean, let's keep it real. I ain't been a Christian my whole life. So when I think back to middle school, high school, and even college of the music I listened to, unfortunately, you could drop a beat and all of a sudden I know every filthy word that comes to that song. It's just the reality of it. I know, like it's just stuck in the back of my head. And so I sit there and go, man, it's not. Unfortunately, you drop a certain beat to, let's say, something from Biggie Smalls. All of a sudden, I know every word, every lyric. But if you were to say, hey, how are you doing in memorizing the book of Ephesians? I'm like, I got Nothing.
That grace and peace part.
Yeah. And so, you know what I mean? Like, I just think it's kind of sad how those lyrics do kind of like dictate your thoughts and your brain and even where your emotions will go when you kind of think of those songs. So I just know that it's something that can definitely send you in the wrong direction. But I don't want to sit here and say that all secular music is bad. I mean, there's fun. There's tons of fun songs that are out there that are just good and fun, and like I don't think they're harmful.
That's the thing too. Like, nobody says this is a rock love song or a love rock song. It's just a rock song. You know what I mean? And like I grew up playing music at an early age. I still play, and I don't write Christian rock songs. I just write rock songs, and they just happen to have Christian lyrics. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a difference. Like, there is one that says Jesus, but if I write a love song that doesn't say anything about Jesus, like, it's still a rock love song by a Christian. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, the label kind of putting labels on music, like Christian, secular, it doesn't really fit for me.
Yeah, in some ways, I like the labels because I know, generally speaking, like a label is going to be safe to listen to, you know, when it's labeled that way. But yeah, I don't, you know, sometimes that can go the other way because there's some labeled Christian music out there that is theologically a little bit off, you know, or leaning in a direction. Yeah. I mean, so for me, it's all about evaluating what that's saying. And that's where I kind of go with. Now, I also am careful too because there's a Hoobastank song that I really like. I don't know if you guys know. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm very careful too because if somebody hears me listening to Hoobastank, I'm kind of worried. Like when I was a youth pastor, I was kind of worried that the kids might think that all Hoobastank songs are okay. And I'm not saying that they all aren't because I only know one song that they sing. So, I mean, that's kind of something that I want to be careful of too. Am I promoting something by listening to it and other people hearing me that? But yeah, I'm kind of all about listening to what those lyrics are portraying either way, whether it's Christian or non-Christian. So
and I think right now for me a big factor in trying to figure out what the right thing is to really go what I want my kids to listen to it. That's kind of where I'm at. If I don't want my 7-year-old to listen to it, I don't need to be listening to it. Just because, truth be told, if I'm listening to it, she's listening to it. So for me right now, my kids are the biggest, I guess, metric on whether or not I'm gonna put something in, if I'm gonna bump something in my living room with the kids in there.
You're not listening to the Chronic driving her to daycare.
No, man, no. I'm not in the what's it called, the pickup line at school, just waiting for bumping some Notorious. Like, what in the world?
I tell you what. Speaking of kids, all right. My daughter will come home and she'll hear songs on the bus and she'll be singing them. I mean, they pick those things up super fast. Like she was singing Poker Face by, I forget who it's by. I'm like, what are you singing? You know, and she's
Lady
like, oh,
Gaga.
it's a song. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh man, I'm not a big fan of Lady Gaga. So I was like, trying to talk to her. And so I had to go online and look at the lyrics and kind of talk to her about the lyrics and everything like that. I tell you what, something else too. My kids both are in Bible quizzing, and they teach kids to remember scripture verses by putting them to music. And they know more scripture verse than I think than I do. It's kind of embarrassing, but that's
a start going through it with
remember things, just putting it to music. So music's, man, a great thing out there because, like you guys were saying, you can remember all the lyrics to a lot of songs. I mean, if you want me to sing Ice Ice Baby, I can sing that song from start to finish.
I don't know if I'd ever say that one in public.
I believe it.
Yeah. And, there are some people that we would say are under a secular label that are Christians, too. And they've got some decent music. So I don't think the label says everything, but it says something. I don't know.
For me, I don't even know if it's really totally the label. I just want to hear the lyrics. I want to hear the words coming out of your mouth. I want to know what you're putting in my ears and my kids' ears, my wife's ears. Lyrics do mean a lot. And even I guess some of these radio edited versions, they're still kind of ridiculous. Like I mean, I'm shocked at what goes on the radio nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like they edit out like words like gun, but the whole song is about like doing drugs and like smoking and stuff.
It makes
like,
no sense.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff in the chat. These guys were saying, and Jesse just said that lyrics are powerful, and ain't that the truth? It's amazing how fast too, like a Rocky song can pump you up. It's amazing how songs affect you, and everything like that.
Sometimes when we get to work, like my main desk is like in this like big open area, and all the service techs are in there. And if I see them dragging, like on a Monday, I'll turn on Eye of the Tiger. Yeah, and I'll just turn the speakers up, and it's like dun 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 dun, and they're all like, "Oh man!"
Yeah,
they start getting pumped up.
Strom had a good question. What about instrumental music? Are there, because at one time in the church, man, you don't play drums, you don't play certain instruments. They're of the devil. Paul wasn't carrying around a drum set when he was back in the day. I think we've come a long way from that. But any issues that you guys would have with instrumental music?
I used to be part of a church that traditionally it didn't use it didn't use any instruments. Like it was all a cappella singing.
Really?
Wow.
So I don't know if Church of Christ, anybody is of that persuasion of Christianity, but yeah, like for a long time, like it was funny because like I was a musician, so I played trombone or baritone in high school and college and stuff, but like it was a talent that other places I could use at church, and like that'd be a thing. But at this particular congregation, like everybody, there was no outlet for instrumentalists. So it was kind of interesting. But I learned a lot of part singing, and not that I can sing that well, but it was kind of an interesting take of. I guess their opinion was that there's no instrumental music that's commanded in the New Testament, so it wasn't valid for church services. But then another congregation I went to, like I was playing in the band, and we actually played secular music from the stage at a church because it kind of related to the message that was being taught that day. And so, yeah.
We've done that before at my church too. Like at one point we had a punctuality problem at church. So like people kept like wandering in like 5 minutes after it was supposed to start or whatever. So we started playing a song like 5 minutes before, so because they all hung out in the lobby, and then once the music started, they started making their way in. So we just started playing music earlier. And a lot of times that would be like, it might be a secular tune that we played the instrumental, arrangement for or whatever. And that worked out really well. And I don't see anything wrong with that at all. Instrumental, because like the music, the melodies, they somehow make a connection in our brain with lyrics, so if you're feeding on these like negative lyrics all day long with these melodies, it's just such a powerful bond in your mind. But pure instrumental stuff I don't have a problem with. And also interestingly is like the modern church, the one that rejects drums, like they must reject like the classical history of the church too, like these Enlightenment periods when you've got Mozart or whoever being paid to create music that lifts people's attention to God. Like all those arrangements included drums and horns and everything. So
yeah, that was the pop music of that time.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think one thing is if it's instrumental on a song that we all know is a secular song that has lyrics that are negative, it is one of the things that's what immediately where my mind goes. Like if I hear a song that is a rap song, like and I hear the instrumental, I still sing the words in my head. Like it's still coming out. So there's still I think you have to be careful what instrumental still, just because the lyrics are still in our head. And I think that's what's kind of powerful is the fact that I could hear that song with no words, and I'm telling you exactly where my mind's going.
It's true.
Jesse said that there's a POD song that drops the F-bomb in it, and he was wondering, POD seems like it has some Christian themes in there.
Yeah.
But he said, can you justify doing that? I remember there was a Creed song, and I'm not saying Creed had that label Christian or anything like that, but I remember there was a song that had the DAMN in it and everything like that. What do you guys think about that? Can you justify using words like that? That's a whole other topic about what words are acceptable and aren't acceptable.
That's a rough one. I don't know if, again, for me, it goes back to my kids. Like, do I want my kids saying that?
Yeah.
Heck no, I don't want my kids saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would have to go off that filter again. And so, yeah, I don't think. I think most things for me right now just revolve around my family, my kids.
Yeah. KS said F-bomb equals faith.
I'm not familiar with that song. I stopped listening to POD after I think it was Fundamental Elements of Southtown, one of their like early ones. I love that album, but I didn't care for it much after that.
Huh. Yeah, I can't think of the song that you're talking about that drops the F-bomb, and that just really surprises me.
I was always kind of not put off, but I always hesitated with them because they kept saying like "Jaja," in their songs, and I was like, this just must be like their shorthand like for Yahweh or something or whatever. But I don't know if there was more to it. I was always kind of skeptical about
Jaja.
Yeah,
that's like a shout out to me. Like they didn't know it's JA.
Yeah,
so they're saying Ja.
Just pronounced it wrong.
Ja, yeah.
That makes sense now.
Yeah,
it's all so clear.
Isn't there Ja Rule? I mean, he copied that off of me too.
I believe that. Yeah, you're kind of.
Tom had a good question. What?
I was going to say there's a pastor that talked about. He's talking about like secular music and using cuss words in the music. He actually dropped like the B word in his sermon. I was like,
oh man.
And he was like, well, I know parents and stuff are going to write in about this, and if you write to this address, and it's it's like I don't care.com or something.
Oh wow.
And I was like, wow. I'm going to save that one.
Yeah. So I dropped I got to admit, I dropped a swear word when we were playing. I was playing with Taboo, and I went to say freaking. I don't think freaking is a bad word. Like freaking out. I mean, it's excited to me, freaking, and some people kind of use it as another word for the F word, but I don't use it that way. So there's a guy in our lobby named Chuck Norris, and I was like, it's freaking Chuck Norris. That was what was playing in my head, and it came out the F word. Like, and I tried to. Well, it came out Frucking, and then I corrected myself because I was like, oh, and I said. Then when I corrected myself, I actually said the F-bomb, and I'm like, oh man, what the heck? Where did that come
Norris
from?
Gets you every time.
Yeah, I was just so excited because Chuck Norris, man, I love Chuck Norris.
It was that like that period when the countdown is happening and you're like picking your classes or whatever, and it was just like quiet.
It was super quiet. I'm like,
is anybody recording that?
And I was worried that Tabby was going to be recording that and like put that up on YouTube. Jay drops the F-bomb twice, or something like that.
No, I wouldn't do that over on a family-friendly channel.
Oh man. But unfortunately, I will admit, like I said before, I have not been a Christian my whole life. Mm-hmm. There is still the old combat that creeps up. And I've been frustrated a couple of times, even while playing video games, and I've had to check myself and go, man, I'm way too involved in this game when I'm dropping a cuss word in the middle of a game. Like, I am way too involved. It's like I probably need to step away. And like, for example, it happened while playing Destiny, playing Trials, and it was so sweaty in there.
Yeah.
And I just lost it. I was like, oh, you got, and then just dropped one, and I was playing with the Creamy and the Jesus Freak, and Freak lost it. I mean, he was dying laughing. Like, I was so ashamed. I was like, I'm done. I give up. Like, I can't play anymore.
And that's the thing, man. We judge each other way too much. We forget that we're human and try to say freaking Chuck Norris, and stuff like that. But we're all growing and everything like that. I got to ask you something, Go Combat, man. You need a couple more crosses on the back wall there.
That's actually that's my wife's cross wall.
That is cool.
We actually have crosses from all over the place: Nicaragua, Venezuela, every state we visit.
Oh, nice.
So,
do you have one from Ohio?
Not one from Ohio.
I'm gonna get you one because that'd be like the one that you put right in the center. Like we had the.
Yeah, the crosses are all from a bunch of different states. I'll take one from Ohio.
Nice.
Nice. Nice. Well, cool. Anybody out there have any questions? Sram had a great question. How do you know when God is testing you? You guys got any thoughts about that? Anybody else in the chat have any thoughts about that? How do you know when God is testing you? And Rebecca, I got to respond to Rebecca because she asked me for a sniping montage. I am horrible at sniping.
Wrong guy.
It never happened.
Wrong guy.
Yeah, and she wants to know if I ever went flawless. Yeah, I did once. Once went flawless, but I think I only tried trials twice.
You know who else went flawless?
Who's that?
Jesus.
The Jesus Jeep of the night.
Oh, nice.
Flawless victory.
All right, back to the question. How do you know when God is testing you? That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Where did it go?
I don't know if I have a good answer. Mainly because I don't know. I've always struggled with trying to figure out is that one of those things that happens? Does God test us? Like is it a test that he doesn't know what's going to happen? I don't know. I think I kind of struggle with that one myself as far as is he testing us? Is he testing our faith? I believe that he tells us to test our own faith, and I just don't know. I don't know. That's a rough one.
Yeah, I think for me, it's almost like one of those things that you realize afterwards too. Like, I remember when I hit a guy in an Amish buggy, man, that was one of the things that seriously tested my faith. But when I came through it, man, my faith was so much stronger. Mm-hmm. So, for me, it's kind of one of those things. I don't know, maybe any trial that really comes up too seems like it's an opportunity to give it to God and can be a test of faith. Mm-hmm. Taboo preacher man. The beard preacher.
Anthony said, he said taboo the preacher, but he said life is a test. I think that's kind of it. Like you're breathing, like the whole thing is a test,
Yeah.
As I sit back and I kind of think about it though, like you take a look at Job, for example. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily like God tested him. It was like Satan came to God and said, "Hey, what about this guy?" And then God was like, "Yeah, go ahead, have at it." I believe that he won't fall, that he won't curse me. Mm-hmm. And so I guess even there you kind of go, well, did God test him, or did he just allow him to be tested? Again, I don't know.
I think it probably happens both ways because I think it's First Samuel where Samuel's mom is barren, and the actual the scripture says that God closed her womb, and like it's clear that he closed her womb in that regard. So it's apparently a test from him. Yeah. But your Job example would be the opposite.
Mm-hmm. You guys have any things that you've noticed lately? This whole thing with you, Combat, just this whole potential move is probably
And that's the thing is, again, it's like, man, I sure as heck don't know. I don't have a good answer. But I think it is one of those things where like God puts it in front of you and you just you do the best with what you feel like you've got. But I don't know if there's a clear cut, like here's the perfect way. And yeah.
Yep. Cool. Anybody in chat have any other questions? We're getting about to the time that we want to be wrapping up. Don't want to keep you in here, but I tell you what, man, thank you to everybody that comes in the chat. Man, this chat is great. I mean, one person early on mentioned the PENIS word or something like that and had to boot him, but the Sakred community, and I consider you guys like part of the Sakred community, but it's so not toxic. I mean, compared to other people's chats and everything like that, and even like in all of our videos and everything like that, you guys are so encouraging. And I just really appreciate it. Thanks you guys for stopping out and sharing with us and talking to us. And I'm pretty bad at talking in the chat, so I appreciate the grace, for anything like that. So, did you see KS's question
about facial hair?
Yeah, how much facial hair is holy?
I'd say about this much.
Yeah.
Ocho, it sounded like you were about to say something a minute ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, there's a scripture I was looking up about the testing, And one of the ones that came up that I thought of immediately was it's not necessarily testing, but it says it's James 1:13. It says when tempted, no one should say God is tempting me, for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. But before that, it even says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete and lacking nothing. If anyone lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So obviously there's like testings that we go through. They may or may not be from God specifically. But anytime we're tested, it's an opportunity for us to grow in our faith. And I think God either allows those things to happen or sometimes he sends them. But if it's temptation that's a choice between maybe sin and not sin, I don't think God sends you temptations that like lead you to sin.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a really good scripture there. Thanks for that, Ocho.
Yeah, James 1, check that out, man. James is an awesome book. I mean, it's
Just saying.
Right, yeah.
Saying.
Yeah, I love it. This is probably one of my favorite books of the Bible, though. It's just really good for examining your faith and some things. So
It is
it's short.
I have found it as a good like return to the Bible chapter or book. You know, like if I go on a hiatus or whatever, backslide, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get in the Word again. Where do I start? Like James is one of those like go-tos for me.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. Chaos said that you're taking the Nazarite vow. You familiar with the Nazarite vow? I'm trying to think. You gotta. I know no.
It's no wine too, right?
Wine.
Yeah, no fermented
grapes.
drink. We gotta talk about alcohol in a future episode. Whether or not Christians should be drinking or anything like that. We're not gonna talk about that right now. But can't shave your hair. I think at the end of it, you're supposed to give some, I don't know, cash or something like that.
Sure, that's exactly what it was.
I think like there's a donation that you have to do to Sakred Gaming.
It's right there in the bottom at that donate button.
Bradley, yeah, you did miss it. We talked a lot about the division, and make sure you just this will go live after we get done, or not go live. It'll go on the channel. You can check that out. But we did talk about the division. A lot of us have it pre-ordered and can't wait to try it out. But anything you...
What's in the cup, Combat?
Yeah.
Oh, water. H2O.
I didn't drink anything because last time I did the show, I had to pee at the end of it, and I was like really going nuts. So I made sure I didn't drink anything this show. Oh, isn't that like the demonic thing, Ocho?
Yeah.
Like the
Isn't that the
666
666? Yep.
on the monster thing?
Demonster energy drink.
The monster. Unleash the beast.
Yeah.
Does it say that on there?
Let's see. I know that's one of their logos or slogans.
Yeah. I'm just kidding with you.
Should Christians drink Monster?
Yeah.
Find out next.
Yeah. Unleash the beast.
Next week on the podcast.
Unleash the beast. Yep. And you're off the show, Ocho. Pass Fan, you were asking about the weight loss challenge. I only had like 2 people that were interested, 2 or 3 people. So I don't know if we're gonna end up doing that. I might do another video just to make sure whether or not some people are interested in doing that weight loss challenge.
Oh man, I was getting ready to destroy you guys.
Oh yeah. You'd shave your beard and lose like 5 pounds. All right. Well, that's all I got. That's all I have. And you guys got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Good. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys letting me join you.
Yeah. Awesome having you on here, Combat. We want to have you on in the future too. Definitely appreciate you doing that, especially maybe right before maybe after you go on your trip.
Yeah.
It'd be good to have you back on and tell us about it.
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Ocho, too, for representing the Sticks Live.
Yeah.
Need to get the
And Taboo,
G-Fuel.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taboo is the guy who does everything behind the scenes, runs everything, streams everything, and handles everything. So appreciate you, Taboo.
Yes, sir.
Especially.
I like the background of our video there.
It's from the Division.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, if you guys want to join us, I know a lot of you guys said that you didn't get notified about this and you're joining in late. We do this Sunday nights at 9 p.m. as long as I can get my internet going. But 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, we're going to try to be faithful to that, just so you guys know when we're starting everything like that. Come hang out with us, and we'd love to talk to you. But you can watch this if you missed any of it. And that's it, man. Just wanted to thank you guys for all the interaction. Thank you for keeping this chat clean and allowing people to express their faith. If you're an atheist, we love you. If you're a Muslim, we love you having you in here. Feel free to ask us any kind of questions and to talk to us about anything. We're not going to judge you. We just want the opportunity to share Christ with people and tell what he's done in our lives and just kind of talk about those issues and talk about gaming. Gaming's kind of brought us all together. And so we love having that opportunity. I consider this like a missions field, and gaming is what gets us in the door. So appreciate that. But that's all I've got, man. Thanks for watching. As always, take care and God bless.